If you grew up in Great Britain, you might remember these kids' TV channels you've watched like CBeebies, CBBC, CITV, and many more. But there is one kids channel that kinda stands out to most British kids channels that some of you guys may remember as a kid. And that channel I'm talking about is TinyPop. TinyPop was a 24/7 television channel that was owned by CSC Media Group, Sony Pictures Television, and Narrative Entertainment. It's also a sister channel of the main Pop channel, alongside Pop Max and the long-gone sister channel, Pop Girl. This channel would broadcast some animated kids TV channels aimed at young viewers like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, my favorite, Care Bears, Franklin, Sesame Street, Peg Plus Cat, and more. This channel was mainly aired on Freeview, Channel 207 and 208 for Fast and Pop Player respectively, Sky TV, Channel 215 for the standard definition, and 218 for the Time Shifter channel, and Virgin Media, Channel 737. But unfortunately, the channel shut down on March 20th, 2024 and moved online. Basically like what CITV did last year and BBC 3 did back in 2016. But was later revived years later in 2019 as a block on BBC One and in 2022 as a channel itself. So in today's video, we're gonna explore the history of this well-loved TV channel and see how much has changed over the last 21 years. So, I present to you the history of TinyPop. Let's get into it. To start, let's go back to the 8th of September 2003, when TinyPop would launch for the first time on UK TV on Sky Channel 617 at the time. The channel was originally called Pop Plus when it launched as a secondary channel to the main Pop channel. At the time, Pop Plus would air music videos as well as animated programs as part of a schedule similar to the Pop channel. The broadcasting hours at the time was 6 AM to 8 PM for both channels, but later turned into 24/7 TV channels. The original intentions for both Pop and Pop Plus was that Pop would show music videos, while Pop Plus would show animated programs and back and forth. But it turns out that that was not the case since both of them would air shows and music videos in a mixed schedule. I couldn't find any more information about the early scheduling for these channels, so take this information with a grain of salt. Anyway, on July 27th, 2004, the channel was renamed from Pop Plus to the well-known name we all love today called TinyPop. The reason why this change happened is because the Pop channel wanted to focus on programming that's suitable for older children, and that it wanted to reduce preschooler programming from there and put it on TinyPop. About the music videos shown on both channels, they kinda stopped showing them as much in the same year. This was because at the time, there were a lot of music video network choices in British television, and animated programs become more predominant. However, despite this change, both Pop and TinyPop aired music videos less frequently until 2010, when they were taken off completely. Anyway, back to TinyPop. TinyPop had little to no on-screen presenters, and instead had 3 monkeys called the Cheeky Monkeys. They are kind of the main presenters as they would announce anything about TinyPop. Really nothing else to say about them. Now let's move on to the golden age of TinyPop. In mid-2007, TinyPop changed its logo for the first time since 2004. This also marks the birth of the iconic TinyPop jingle that has been used for 11 years. Here's the jingle.
Stay right here on TinyPop for all the best shows.
If you guys remembered that jingle, then you've had a really good childhood. Anyway, there were also new items to coincide with the 2007 rebrand, like the Space Ident,
Stay right here on TinyPop for all the best shows. TinyPop.
Morning Ident,
Good morning. You're watching TinyPop. TinyPop.
Nighttime Ident,
Enjoy your evening with TinyPop. TinyPop.
etc. TinyPop was also launched on Virgin Media months later on October 11, 2007 on channel 737. 1 year later in 2008, a free-to-air television service, FreeSat, was launched on May 6, 2008, and one of the channels, especially TinyPop, was there on channel 605 when FreeSat launched. In 2009, the Cheeky Monkeys were replaced with 3 new monkeys called the Little Monkeys. Their names are Molly, Leo, and Pip. They have been on TinyPop for about 13 years, so hopefully you remember these 3. Anyway, 2 years later, TinyPop rebranded for the second time to the iconic rebrand that most of you guys remember as a kid. This rebrand ran from 2011 to 2018, and if you grew up in the early 2010s, you'll definitely remember this. The jingle from 2007 is also kept in from the previous rebrand. 3 years later, on June 26, 2014, Sony Pictures Television announced that it would acquire 16 channels including Pop, Pop Max, TinyPop, and others from CSC for £107 million. Then, 2 months later on August 15th, the deal was closed and all of CSC's channels were transferred to Sony Pictures Television, leading to CSC Media Group becoming dormant. However, it still continued to operate until November 26, 2019, when the company was defunct. And with that, that was the golden age of TinyPop. Now let's move on to the silver age of TinyPop. So fast forward to October 23rd, 2014, when TinyPop launched on Freeview for the first time on channel 126 at the time. TinyPop on Freeview timeshared with the community channel, now known as Together TV, running from a time slot from 3 PM to 7 PM until January 7th, 2015. From what I have found on some wiki, again, take this info I'm about to say with a grain of salt, it says that Freeview broadcasted TinyPop's build programming from 6 AM to 10:30 PM, teleshopping content from 10:30 PM to 1:30 AM, and through the night programming from 1:30 AM to 6 AM. I'm not really sure if the numbers in the screenshot are supposed to represent the time or not, but I digress. Anyway, on New Year's Day of 2015, the schedule was changed to have build content from 6 AM to midnight, leading to the 2 blocks being taken off of the channel. A few days later, on the 7th of January 2015, TinyPop fully became 24/7 on Freeview channel 126, and it has stayed like this for 2 years until 2017, but more on this later. Anyway, let's head to 2016. On July 14, 2016, the time-shifter channel of TinyPop, channel 625 at the time, somehow was rebranded to Pop Max temporarily. During that time, it aired back-to-back episodes of some random shows from TinyPop until December 1st, 2016, when TinyPop came back. Eventually, this would happen for a second time from the 9th of February 2017 to 25th of April of 2017. Months later in August, Pop Max would replace Kicks as a new channel for the Pop franchise, but we're getting a bit off topic. Anyway, on March 15th, 2017, TinyPop on Freeview has moved on to local television multiplexes across the UK. This meant that anyone living in cities without a local television service no longer had access to watch TinyPop on Freeview. This also meant that with this info, we can possibly prove that the channel moved from channel 126 to channel 207 for this reason, where the channel remained until it shut down. This is evident in a TinyPop MLP promo from 2017, where it would show the Freeview channel number for TinyPop. Fast forward to the 1st of May 2018, there was an electronic program guide, EPG, reshuffle on Sky TV, where channels would move to the new designated sections. Because of this, one of the channels affected, which of course is the time shifter channel of TinyPop, was moved from channel 625 to 624. It has stayed like that for 3 years, but we'll get to that later. Now, this is where the downfall of TinyPop begins, and that is the Bronze Age of TinyPop. So, let's talk about it, shall we? Just about a few months later, on September 1st, 2018, TinyPop had yet again another rebrand that lasted for the rest of TinyPop's existence after 7 years of the previous rebrand use. My opinion on this rebrand is that it looks alright, but not really that great to be honest. The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of 2000s British kids grew up with the 2007 and 2011 rebrand, and having that taken away from them is honestly really sad and kind of devastating, not gonna lie. The 2018 rebrand doesn't bring much charm to them, and it doesn't have much hype and excitement. But everything has to change in some way or another, so it's kind of understandable. Speaking of change, another change happened when the Little Monkeys slowly started to phase out in this age of TinyPop, but was completely removed in 2022, especially for the Cuddle Time and Happy Birthday songs. Anyway, fast forward to early 2021. On January 11th, 2021, on Sky TV, TinyPop and its time shifter channel moved channels, with the main channel moving from 617 to 615, and the time shifter channel moving from 624 to 618. This was because of another channel in Ireland or Northern Ireland taking place for TinyPop's previous spot called RTE Junior. A few months later, on May 14th, 2021, Sony Pictures Television sold all of their channels, including CSC channels, to an American finance company called Narrative Capital, leading to Narrative launching Narrative Entertainment a few days later on May 25th. Fast forward a year later, on November 9th, 2022, Pop Kids was launched as a fast channel to air shows from Pop and TinyPop, and this fast channel was streamed on Samsung TV Plus. However, this decision was changed a year later in September 2023, when the fast channel was split into two channels, with the TinyPop Fast channel having its own channel, and Pop replacing the Fast channel. The Fast channels were now available on Rakuten TV, Hisense, NetGem, etc. Before we get to the death of TinyPop, I want to mention something real quick. I saw this comment from a TinyPop logo history video, and one sentence from this comment says, "I'm not really into TinyPop that much anymore as a lot of the good shows are now gone," which could possibly indicate that during this age of TinyPop has seemed to be getting rid of older shows that used to air on TinyPop, which could be another reason for why TinyPop isn't that much exciting and great anymore as it once was. My theory on why they're doing this is to possibly make way for their new shows to fit into their new schedule. Now, I'm not saying that this theory is true, this is just what I think the reason that TinyPop is doing this. But yet again, take this theory with a grain of salt. Now, the next section will be a bit more serious, as we're going to be talking about the death of TinyPop. So, let's talk about it. Unfortunately, this is where the ride officially comes to an end. On the 30th of January 2024, Narrative Entertainment announced that TinyPop will cease broadcasting on linear TV services on the 20th of March. This news has made people feel so heartbroken and devastated about this depressing news. People have also made videos about the TinyPop shutdown incident, going over details about this situation.
So this article coming from the ever-reliable RxTV, so it says popular Freeview Kids channel switches to online only. Children's channel, TinyPop, will be solely available via online and streaming platforms from Wednesday the 20th of March. Viewers will be able to watch TinyPop via the Pop Player or via streaming channel providers including Samsung TV Plus, NetGem and LG channels. The move ends traditional broadcasts through Freeview, Freesat, Sky and Virgin Media.
TinyPop would be moving fully online and on streaming services like Pop Player, LG Channel, NetGem, Rakuten TV, etc. It's honestly really devastating that a channel like this would shut down their traditional broadcasting operation, especially when some 2000 kids grew up with TinyPop in their childhoods, and taking that away from them is just really tragic and unfortunate for them. Then, 2 months later, it has shut down and has moved fully online. What you're seeing right now is the last few seconds of TinyPop before the shutdown. This is like what CITV did on the 1st of September 2003, and BBC 3 did on the 16th of February 2016. So, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Apparently, the reason why they did this was because, according to Francesca Newton, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, said that because of the rising amount of children aged 3 to 4 consuming online content every day, their online platforms will provide new opportunities to evolve, providing viewers free access to new quote-unquote exciting content they'll watch when or whenever they want. Now, look, I know there are some benefits to this, but in my opinion, shutting down the traditional linear broadcast channel of TinyPop is kind of just a dumb move, to be honest. Because there's literally no point in shutting the channel down just to move TinyPop online. Same goes to CITV, BBC 3, and all other channels as well. But at least BBC 3 came back to linear television in 2022. Narrative. Why not just promote your online services while having the original linear channel still up? Like I said, I'm not just saying this about TinyPop, but to all channels out there in the UK. I felt like you guys have made the wrong decision to shut down the channel on live TV. Like, you guys made a lot of people really upset and disheartened because of what you guys did. But like I said, change always happens and we have to deal with change. Even though I think shutting a channel down over more people being online than watching TV is just stupid and dumb. Other than that, rest in peace, TinyPop. 2003 to 2024. TinyPop was a really great kids channel from many people's childhoods in the UK. It was really sad that Narrative had shut down the channel and moved it online. Not only that, even before TinyPop shut down, it was already on decline as many old shows started to phase out of the channel, especially in the Bronze Age. But that's part of change. We're all growing up and reaching into our adulthoods, so that's also probably the reason why 2000s kids stopped watching TinyPop. If there were 3 things I would consider changing about TinyPop so that it would have a bigger audience again, it would be A. Not shut down TinyPop as a way to move it online, B. Bring back all of the old shows, and C. Bring back the 2011 rebrand of TinyPop. Those are my recommendations if TinyPop wants to have a bigger population of an audience. Hopefully, TinyPop comes back in the future, but I honestly doubt that will ever happen. Before I end this video, I now want to take a quick look at the logo history of TinyPop, so let's strap in. First up, we have the Pop Plus logo from 2003 to 2004. We can see that the logo has 2 P's colored in blue, and a yellow balloon that has a pig plus symbol on it. Next up, we have the 2004 TinyPop logo. As we can see, we have different colored circles with each letter of the network name in this logo. Sometimes, the colors alternate every now and then, especially music videos and items. Next up, we have the 2007 TinyPop logo. Now, this one's a bit different as the circles are now showing gradient colors instead of the static color. Also, the letters font has changed to be smaller and the color arrangement also has changed. The last P is now red and the first P is now light blue. Although these changes were shown before the 2007 rebrand, TinyPop decided to stop doing color alterations, so that's why the circles have not changed in the 2007 rebrand. Next, we have the 2011 TinyPop logo. Here, most of the colored circles are still the same except for the Y circle, as it has now changed from purple to orange. The letters in the logo are now way bigger than the previous logo, even as far as almost reaching the walls of the circles. And finally, we have the 2018 TinyPop logo. As we can see here, a lot of things has changed. First off, the color arrangement for Tiny is now different. T for yellow, I for blue, M for pink, and Y for green. Another change that happened is that the word pop is no longer in colored circles. Instead, it now uses the main pop logo on the recent TinyPop logo. And that's basically it for the logo history. So, with that said, I will wrap up the video here. So thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. Let me know what era of TinyPop out of the 4 was your favorite, and which ones did you grow up with. Be sure to let me know all about this in the comments. So thanks for watching this really special video. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to hit the like button, and subscribe if you're new to my channel, and also turn on the shiny notification bell so you won't miss out on any new video from me in the future. Thanks so much for watching this long documentary video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.